Okay, so the second option is going to include round robining open opportunities to a specific sales team or just assigning those to a specific user. Um, because these are really hot opportunities, we want to make sure that they're going to get contact as soon as possible. Where, as you know, our typical DealerSocket follow-up campaigns taper off as they get older. We want to make sure that it's not going to be a week before a call for that individual populates for the salesperson to call them. So the first thing that we're going to do is go into our campaign manager, and we're going to create a new campaign. And I'm just going to call it Orphan Customer Follow-Up. I'm just going to copy that into the tracking code, and I'm going to put it under Purchase Inquiry Follow-Up as far as the type. Go ahead and hit Save. And it's going to be a pretty simple campaign. All we're going to do is add an activity, and I'm just going to call it an Orphan Follow-Up Call. It's going to be whoever it's assigned to. Activity, comment, pretty simple. Orphan customer, or I'm going to say open orphan customer opportunity. All customer ASAP. Days due from creation 0, sequence number 1, days after prior 0, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So now that I have the follow-up campaign for that customer, I can now go ahead and take the open activities from the user that's leaving the dealership and reassign them to a specific team or user. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my dealership users. Again, Carol Baskin, she's in and out of the dealership these days. So she's going to be leaving us again. We're going to go ahead and mark her inactive. Do you want to reassign the events? Yes. So in this scenario, I'm going to go ahead and just go to the open events, and because there should only be one showing, I'm going to go ahead and just send those to a specific user. So I'm going to send those to Carl Malone. Maybe he can deliver for them. At that point, I'm going to come down here and check the box for enroll in campaign. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see the Orphan Customer Follow-Up campaign here, and then I'm going to execute that reassignment. So now that that's complete, tomorrow, Carl Malone is going to have a task to call that open customer. Now, Carol Baskin still has customers in the sold and in the lost categories as well. So we're going to go ahead and take those and reassign them to the Your Friends at user. Now, obviously, this is going to be different for whatever dealership you're at. I'm in our test account right now, so I've got Your Friends at Dealerville, USA. But what I'm going to do is use the Orphan bucket or the Your Friends at bucket as a place to house all of my Orphan customers that are in a lost status or a sold status. And then any tasks that get generated for those customers, I'm going to set up a business rule to reassign those to the sales floor so that we can guarantee that those calls get made. Now, the advantage of this setup is that, Orphan customers obviously are going to receive follow-up this way versus getting lost in an Orphan bucket or a veteran salesperson that doesn't use the system as much, right? The disadvantage to this would be, because the tasks are evenly spread out when we round robin, it may be that a user that doesn't have that many people to call only gets a few phone call tasks from this solution, whereas somebody that has a lot of people to call would get that same amount when they don't really need that. But every dealership's different. This may work for your dealership, while it might not work for other dealerships. So I'm going to go ahead and make that reassignment for the one event that's in a sold status, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the lost event. The last step of setting this up is going to be adding a business rule to reassign any tasks that are assigned to the Your Friends at Dealerville USA user. So I'm going to come over here to Marketing Tools, business rule manager. I'm going to click new in the upper right-hand side. And I'm going to click sales activity. And I'm going to say where this is assigned to your friends at, and the due date is due, let's just say within 1 day. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And I'm going to say update an activity. And I'm going to say round robin to the salesperson team. And then I can add a note that just says, orphan customer task, please follow up. We're not going to have any exceptions on this rule. And I want this rule to run daily. And we'll just call it the orphan customer task reassignment. We're going to go ahead and activate that. We shouldn't have to put any other recurring matches or duplicates or an entity count on this one as we're running it each day. We want to make sure that we are running it for hey, it's due within a day versus all time, because we could take all of those tasks that are assigned to that user and round robin them right off the bat, which depending on how many are assigned to that user, it could break the business rule. So for now, we're just going to leave it like that. We're going to go ahead and hit done. And then tomorrow, if any tasks get assigned to that your friends at whatever dealership you're at user are populated, they're going to go ahead. They will then be round robin to the sales staff, so you can make sure that they'll be done.